Hey, this will be my vlog for MultiSensory Approaches. One of the questions was, what did I take away from the multisensory and UDL approaches? I feel that I took away a lot or plenty of information dealing with multisensory approaches, such as the visual drills, where the letter card was shown and then the student will say what the letter is while tracing it on the carpet that the teacher provided. They'll say the letter, the keyword associated with the letter, and the letter sound. I feel that that will teach the student letter recognition and letter and sound recognition. There was also the auditory part where the student will repeat the sound after the teacher and then say the letter name, as well as the word associated with the letter. I especially like the touch math. There's the different points in the different numbers so that the student could. I found a different way of how to add, whereas I had I was taught differently, but there was a different modules where teachers just took one group of objects and another group of objects and had the student count each one. I found that this is really different. One of my classmates mentioned that it was used in her kindergarten classroom. One of the things I don't like is how it's not used more in our education system. I think if schools and school principals were more informed about this program, that it would be implemented more. But perhaps because schools may be under restructuring, that the person they're signed under requires them to teach a certain way. I also enjoyed the different modalities. Through the readings, there were different suggestions of how to teach students their letters. One of them was using pipe cleaners, another was to have a letter reference book available. For students, there's often the confusion between the letters B and D. There's that picture. You do that, and then there's like the E in the middle for the word bed. There was also math manipulatives helpful for. I mentioned that it might be helpful for students, but maybe considered a distraction for others. So as teachers, it's good to take into consideration what would be most beneficial to use in a lesson in order to ensure that it won't be a distraction for a majority of your students. And how do you address the needs of students who find the manipulatives distracting? I think one question I have is, despite all the suggestions provided and despite trying every single thing you could think of, a student still fails to grasp a concept. Say, for addition, if you use touch math, the student still doesn't get it, and then you try something else like the method I learned of grouping the objects together and counting one by one, and that still doesn't work. What are some other ways to teach a student adding, subtracting, some math concepts despite having these suggestions? Another question I have is, are there other letters besides B and D that students may confuse? And with these, how would you address that need or that challenge? For B and D, there's this, the bed thing. What other ways besides the ones mentioned in the videos and the readings could or are available, or what suggestions do you have? Well, I suppose there's P and Q, but you can't exactly make words with those. Well, I mean those two letters within the same word. And with those two questions in mind, that will conclude my vlog on multisensory methods or approaches.